Have you ever begged someone to stay, pleaded for a second chance, compromised your dignity just to hold on to something that was already gone? In that moment, you gave away something far more valuable than whatever you were trying to keep. You gave away your power. Welcome back to Strong Male Figure. Today, we're diving into one of the most powerful tools in a man's arsenal, the ability to walk away, not just physically, but mentally and emotionally detaching from outcomes you can't control. This isn't about being cold or unfeeling. It's about understanding a truth that the ancient Stoics recognized centuries ago. True strength comes not from controlling the world around you, but from mastering yourself. If you've ever found yourself desperately clinging to a situation, whether it's a relationship, a job, or even an idea of who you thought you were, today's video might just change your life. The trap of attachment. Think about the last time you felt desperate. Maybe it was when someone you loved was pulling away, or when a business deal was falling through. That feeling of panic, that need to do anything to fix the situation. That's attachment at work. The Roman Stoic philosopher Epictetus was born a slave. He understood powerlessness on a level most of us will never experience. Yet he taught, make the best use of what is in your power and take the rest as it happens. When you beg, you're doing the opposite. You're trying to control what isn't yours to control. Other people's decisions, external circumstances, outcomes that were never guaranteed. Let me tell you a story about Marcus Aurelius, the Roman emperor, who was perhaps the most powerful man in the world during his time. Even with all his authority, he understood that some things were beyond his control. When his friend and teacher Fronto fell ill, Marcus didn't rail against the gods or demand the impossible. Instead, he wrote, "Accept the things to which fate binds you, and love the people with whom fate brings you together, but do so with all your heart." This is the foundation of Stoic detachment. Not an absence of care, but a presence of acceptance. Why begging diminishes you. When you beg, three things happen. First, you signal to others that you value them more than yourself. Second, you create an imbalance of power that breeds resentment, not respect. And third, perhaps most damaging, you train yourself to believe that your happiness depends on forces outside your control. The philosopher Seneca, who served as advisor to Emperor Nero, understood this well. Despite his wealth and influence, he wrote, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poor." When you beg for something, you're admitting that without it, you are incomplete. You're declaring your own poverty of spirit. A strong man, a stoic man, builds his house on the solid ground of self-sufficiency. Not isolation. Connection is vital to human thriving, but a fundamental understanding that your worth doesn't depend on what others think of you or give to you. The power of walking away. Now, walking away doesn't mean running from challenges. Sometimes walking away is the challenge. Zeno of Citium, the founder of Stoicism, was a wealthy merchant who lost everything when his ship sank. Instead of begging the gods for his fortune back or lamenting his fate, he walked into a bookshop in Athens and began studying philosophy. His loss became the world's gain as he developed the philosophy that would guide men of strength and character for thousands of years. Walking away means recognizing when something no longer serves your highest good. It means being willing to endure short-term pain for long-term dignity. When you master the art of walking away, you develop what the Stoics called apatheia, not apathy, but freedom from destructive emotions. You become the eye of the hurricane, calm while everything swirls around you. Think of it like this. A ship anchored to one spot becomes vulnerable to every storm, but a ship that can raise its anchor and navigate to safer waters survives to sail another day. How to develop the strength to walk away. So how do we develop this power? Let me share 3 Stoic practices that have helped countless men before you. First, practice negative visualization. Imagine losing what you're afraid to lose. Feel the pain fully. Then ask yourself, would my life still have meaning? Would I still have value? The answer is always yes. Epictetus taught his students to say, I was robbed of my oil flask, but I still have my reason. No matter what is taken from you, your character remains yours alone. Second, remember that everything is borrowed. Your job, your relationships, your possessions, all are on loan from fate. Enjoy them fully while they're here, but hold them with an open hand. Marcus Aurelius would remind himself each morning, Alexander the Great and his mule driver both died, and the same thing happened to both. Everything returns to its source eventually. And third, this is crucial. Invest in what can't be taken, your courage, your principles, your self-discipline. These are the true possessions of a strong man. As Seneca advised, take it that you have died today and lived your life up to now. The remainder is just bonus. The results of mastering detachment. When you master the art of walking away, when you free yourself from begging and pleading, your entire life transforms. Relationships improve because you're in them by choice, not necessity. Work becomes more satisfying because you're driven by purpose, not fear. And most importantly, you reclaim ownership of your peace of mind. The Stoics saw the wise man as like a rock against which waves crash. The waves keep coming, but the rock remains unmoved. One of my favorite Stoic stories concerns Cato the Younger. When Julius Caesar was seizing power in Rome, Cato refused to bend the knee. Even when offered forgiveness and position, he would not compromise his principles. He walked away from power, from safety, from life itself, rather than sacrifice his integrity. Now, I'm not suggesting such extreme measures, but imagine having even a fraction of that conviction, that willingness to stand by your values regardless of the consequences. That is the power that comes when you no longer beg for approval, for acceptance, for love. You give these things freely, and you accept only what is freely given in return. The next time you feel the urge to beg or plead, whether it's with a partner who's pulling away, a boss who doesn't value you, or even with fate itself, I want you to pause, take a deep breath, and ask yourself, what would happen if I simply walked away? Not with anger, not with manipulation, but with the quiet dignity of a man who knows his worth. The answer might surprise you, because what you're really walking away from isn't that person or situation. It's the false belief that your happiness depends on anyone but yourself. If this message resonated with you, I want you to do 3 things. First, identify one situation in your life right now where you're holding on too tightly, where you might be close to begging. Write it down. Second, practice detachment through daily meditation. Just 5 minutes a day, imagining yourself letting go with dignity. And third, share this video with one man who needs to hear it. We all know someone who's giving away their power. Be the friend who helps them reclaim it. If you're new here, join our community of men committed to living with Stoic strength. Hit subscribe, turn on notifications, and check out our playlist on Stoic principles for the modern man. Remember, a strong man never begs because he knows that true wealth lies within. As Epictetus said, wealth consists not in having great possessions, but in having few wants. Until next time, stand tall, walk strong, and never compromise your dignity.